So I typically don't watch news like I used to anymore, mainly because for my sanity, really. It gets I don't know. There's just some, it's just negative. It's always negative. It's propagandistic. There's just nothing of any value. It doesn't bring any. I mean, you want to be informed, but you know, it's just it's always negative and it's always abusive, and it's the people in power who have the ability and the means to control the narrative, pushing that narrative, and even I think I'm almost to the point where even the opposition to the narrative is them pushing it too. It's almost like they want the fight. They want you to act crazy or to feel crazy or to feel out of control. The whole thing. I mean, it's just like you got to check out for your own mental state, I think. Um, Probably have heard that Trump posted about being arrested by the New York District Attorney for the whole Stormy Daniels incident, or an incident related to it. Okay. I'll briefly touch on that, but the thing I was really most concerned about and wanted to talk about was the reaction to Ron DeSantis's reaction by the Trump people. It's really bothering me. So let's just watch the Ron DeSantis reaction, and then I'll move on from there.
From the Florida Standard, we wanted to know what your thoughts are on the rumored Trump indictment, and if you have any role in it. If charges are brought on him, will you have any role in extradition to New York?
So I've seen rumors swirl. I have not seen any facts yet, and so I don't know what's going to happen. But I do know this: the Manhattan District Attorney is a Soros-funded prosecutor, and so he, like other Soros-funded prosecutors, they weaponize their office to impose a political agenda on society at the expense of the rule of law and public safety. He has downgraded over 50% of the felonies to misdemeanors. He says he doesn't want to even have jail time for the vast, vast majority of crimes. And what we've seen in Manhattan is we've seen the crime rate go up, and we've seen citizens become less safe. And so you're talking about this situation with, and look, I don't know what goes into paying hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that. But what I can speak to is that if you have a prosecutor who is ignoring crimes happening every single day in his jurisdiction, and he chooses to go back many, many years ago to try to use something about porn star hush money payments, that's an example of pursuing a political agenda and weaponizing the office. And I think that that's fundamentally wrong.
Okay. So, honestly, I have no problem with what he said. I'll be honest with you. And it's interesting that Trump people do. The main thing that they're saying, and they've had a problem with Ron DeSantis for a while now, it's because he's running for president. How dare he, or I'm sorry, because he has not said he's not running for president, and he's doing things that make you think he might be getting ready to run for president. How dare he? Doesn't he know that Trump is the president? This is the way people behave, and it's concerning. I voted for Trump. I would vote for Trump again. I have no problem with him being president. In fact, I think he still should be president. There's no way in the world who got that many whats. So any clear thinking person who just looked at the data knows this is the case. So the thing that bothers me about this, there's so many different issues I have with this. First of all, what he said there. First of all, they said he should have said something when he wasn't saying anything. And now that he said something, they're upset with what it was that he said. He was asked about it. He didn't bring it up on his own. And they're upset that he brought up the fact that it has to do with hush money for a porn star, which is a story everybody knows about. So Trump can do that, but Ron can't talk about it. To me, that's a weird way to deal with information. Perfectly, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I don't care all that much about the story in regards to Trump. I don't expect great things from Trump as in a moral fashion. My view on Trump, the reason why I like Trump as president, was the possibility that he would drain the swamp. And let me just ask, did he drain the swamp? No, he didn't drain the swamp. So I don't know exactly what we're supposed to be expecting with a second term. More promises not kept. I mean, now in fairness, the first 3 years of his presidency were amazing. He had a lot to deal with, a lot on his plate. Obviously, draining the swamp's not an easy thing to do, but he didn't do it. And he made it seem like it would be something he could do. He didn't do it. You know, I think what people are saying is that DeSantis is part of the swamp. And that's where we get this whole sort of thing where it's like, it's not about what you see, it's about the shadows. You know, we have experienced Trump. We've also experienced DeSantis. And DeSantis has been 80% great. You know, I've got no issues with DeSantis for the most part, other than a speech bill that he promoted to keep people from saying anti-Semitic things. I'm not in favor of that. That's about the only thing I'm aware of. I'm sure there are other things that he's done that I'm not a big fan of. I don't expect to be a big fan of everything politicians do. And, you know, so we see DeSantis for, you know, the things that are in the sunlight, right? And we're supposed to believe the conspiracy theories that, oh, George Soros is funding DeSantis. He just, in that video, associated the district attorney with Soros as a pejorative, as a bad thing. But he's the one, maybe he's lying. It's like, okay, Trump lies, though. I don't understand the double standard. You know, I expect it from the left. I don't expect that from the right. I know that happens. But I don't understand the love that the Trump people have. Look, I was in a boat parade for Trump. I was definitely for Trump in so many different ways, defended Trump. I defend Trump with the Stormy Daniels thing. I mean, in this respect, it's between him and his wife. The issue that, just to be clerical and say what's going on as far as the case is concerned, basically what it is, as I understand it, is his lawyer paid money to Stormy Daniels to shut her up, and they're saying that that's a misuse of business funds. You know, to be perfectly honest, it seems like you could do that to any businessman in the country. You know, not that they're all paying porn stars, but I'm saying, you know, they're taking tax write-offs for stuff all the time. It's just part of doing business. And so it's really nitpicky, especially when you've got, you know, I don't know, Joe Biden doing business with a country that we're now supporting in a war, and all of tax, you know, billions and billions and billions of taxpayers, future taxpayers, because our taxpayer dollars are gone, they've been gone for decades, are being wasted in a war in that country. I would think that would be a bigger deal, because Trump didn't get us into any wars. He actually seems to have avoided wars. And as soon as, you know, Sleepy Joe came in, we're at this sort of you know, tangential war situation. that seems like, I guess that's Trump's fault too. So, I defend Trump. I defend Trump in a lot of ways, but I don't understand this sycophantic, if that's a word, desire to protect Trump. It's like, on the one hand, Trump's the only one that can get things done because he's so tough. He's a tough guy. He walks around in a trench coat. He's a mob guy dealing with the New York mob businessman. He's all this stuff. And then, but you got to protect him. You got to protect him. Well, if he's tough, why do we need to protect him? We don't need to protect him. And this whole thing is like, oh, how dare Ron DeSantis mentioned Stormy Daniels' situation? Well, everybody knew what the situation was. Trump actually got himself into the situation, whatever happened. He can't mention that. He's got to play by those rules. And they're saying, well, he took a shot. Okay, let's assume it was a shot. I can see it being sort of a shot because guess what? Trump is taking shots at DeSantis. Isn't that what Trump does? This idea that everybody gets to play by the same rules except Trump. Trump can go around saying really crude and awkward and sometimes funny things about people. And everybody goes, well, that's just Trump. So that's fine. But, okay, fine. That's just Trump. But you have to protect him from the very thing that he does. That's where it really bothers me, where people seem to be out of their mind worshiping Trump. And I heard people say this back when I was supporting Trump real hard, and I thought, man, I felt like, oh, you're that's a slight at me, like I'm worshiping. And I never thought that people were doing that. And so, well, I mean, I guess I kind of saw, but I thought they were the crazy fringe people, right? Now I'm starting to see that it isn't just the fringe people. There is this, so there's the Trump derangement syndrome, right? And that's definitely something the left deals with, but I'm starting to see that it's something the right deals with as well. And I don't know what it is about this guy that makes everybody crazy. He doesn't speak eloquently. He doesn't seem like this great leader. He does seem caring at times. I could see following the guy. He's kind of an alpha dog type, mentality and personality. Other than that, I mean, and he does talk direct, and he does seem like a force of nature in regards to wanting to do things against the government, which I was all for. But I don't see this. It's starting to break down for me with this, because I'm supposed to look at DeSantis, who's done a good job also, and I'm supposed to distrust everything about that guy because he's doing things that Trump would do in a much better way, by the way. The way that he tactfully handled that situation. If he was going to throw a jab at Trump, he did it very artfully. Unlike Trump, who does it in a childlike, juvenile way. So I'm supposed to gravitate toward the juvenile and resent and believe conspiracy theories about the other guy. I just can't understand that. I can't wrap that around my head. The people who love Trump hate DeSantis just for being there and not just bowing out of the way for Trump. It's really crazy. And if you think about it, what are we even talking about? We're talking about the fact that he's going to be arrested. And why are we talking about that? Because Trump said it. Trump made it the story. Trump said he was going to be arrested. He said he was going to be arrested on Tuesday. And guess what? It's Tuesday. And he wasn't arrested. So he made it the story. The media picked up on it. The media asked DeSantis about it, and he didn't say it the way that the Trump worshipers thought he should. It leaves a real bad taste in my mouth with Trump. And the fact that he would dare, Trump, mention protesting over this. This is a guy who invited patriots to the Capitol on January 6th, and many of them are still in jail. And I've heard people say, well, they got technically arrested before he left office, so he couldn't pardon them. Okay, maybe that's the way it went down. But why isn't he out there defending them? He's defending himself because of a decision he made and a situation he got into with a porn star. I'm supposed to defend this guy because he's being slighted by DeSantis? And in the process, he's telling people to go out and protest. Look, guess what happens when we protest? We don't live in America anymore. This isn't America like it used to be. This is something we have to... I mean, I don't know how it's going to change, because Trump was what was supposed to change it, wasn't he? Instead, he's worried about porn star payments. Where's the change? Instead, all of the things that happened that set up for his demise in regards to his second term happened on his watch. I know COVID was a difficult situation politically, but he put Fauci up there. He put Birx up there. He's promoting the jab. I think he's still promoting it, probably. They shut down the whole nation. They lied and said 15 days, and then they went further. They lied at every stretch, every turn. And he was at the head of the nation when they did this. I'm not saying he was a part of it. I understand there's all these forces involved and all that. I'm saying I don't know how people think he's the one that's going to save the nation. To the point where you're going to just, what seems to be, besmirching and slandering somebody who is... What happened to the movement? Isn't it Make America Great Again? Is this about Trump? I thought this was about the movement that Trump was spearheading. It doesn't seem to be like that to me at all now. It's all about Trump. It's this cult of personality around Trump. And I can't get behind that at all. It's I don't know. It's frustrating for me to see our country in this situation. I thought Trump was going to help get the country out, get all the abusive people. Instead, we've got they're ramping it up, They're ramping everything up. And I don't see him as some sort of political savior. And I don't know why anyone would. So when it comes between Trump and DeSantis, I don't see how it's a given that Trump and for that matter, I don't know that it's a given. It's DeSantis. It could be exactly what people say. It wouldn't be the first time that I felt betrayed by a political candidate. But guess what? I feel betrayed by Trump, and right now I haven't seen anything that DeSantis did to make me feel that way. So if you're going to make me choose between the two, I'm going to choose Ron DeSantis.